In this presentation, we will process payroll for the month of November within QuickBooks. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. Here we are on the home page. We have the open windows open. You can open the open windows, go into the view drop down and open windows list. We're now jumping forward in time. Once again, another month has passed. We're going to pay the payroll in our payroll problem, that being for the month this time of November. Down here in the employees section, we're going to select the pay employees once again and go through the payroll process for the next month, the month of November. We're going to make sure that the dates look proper. We're going to say that the date of the period end is 11/30. That's the end of the month. This typically will populate for us, but be very careful there, because if it doesn't, if it has the wrong pay period, then you're going to want to go back in there and adjust it and make sure it's proper, because otherwise the payroll is going to be difficult to adjust. It's hard to adjust payroll, more so than other types of areas. So make sure the check date or the period end is correct. We're going to say that the period end is 11/30, and then we're going to pay it on 12/1, as our system has done thus far, paying it on the next day. Payroll ends as of the end of the month. We're going to pay it on the following day. That typically would be the current day that we're entering this information, but of course in the example problem, we will be putting it on the next day here in the year 2021, the time period we are working on. We're not going to be printing the checks. We're going to be handwriting the checks. The check number should be okay and ready to go now. We're going to go ahead and select all of our employees and enter this data as we have seen in prior payroll. And the payroll should become easier and easier as we enter it, part of the process being routine, although we do want to be careful of it, because when there are problems, they don't typically show up until the end of the year or end of the quarter when we start to sum up this data. So we're going to go into Anthony Moore. We're going to keep the data the same, and if the data is the same from period to period, then it should populate for us here. So we have the prior period hours, 163, the overtime, the 3 hours, that gives us the gross pay and the overtime pay. The 401k and the insurance should populate on themselves, as well as the union. You need to enter in the 187 for federal income taxes, the 259.63 for Social Security, and Medicare 6072. Then on the employer side, we're going to be matching the 259.63 for the Social Security and the 6072 Medicare. No FUTA, no SUTA, no federal unemployment, no state unemployment. Why? Because all of our employees have hit those low caps already at this point. So that is going to be it. Net check 2052.35. Make sure that checks out, and we'll go on to the next employee by selecting Save and Next. That being Jill Jackson. Jill Jackson has the same amount of hours at the 140, no overtime, and that gives us the 4,340 and 0 OT for the gross pay. The 401k and the health insurance will populate on themselves. We then need to enter the federal withholdings, 474, the Social Security, 269.08, and the Medicare, 62.93. That gives us a net check, our check number of $1,988.65. Don't forget the employer portion of Social Security, $269.08, matching the same amount over here, and the Medicare, $62.93. That's going to be it for Jill Jackson. Moving on to the next Save and Next employee, Judy Jones. Judy Jones, being the heart and soul of this organization and the founder and owner, is having the $35,000. She's the salaried employee here. That will calculate every time then as the salary. We have the salary up top. We got the 401k and the health insurance, which should pull over automatically. We're going to then enter the federal withholdings at 7508.13. Social Security at 1450.80. Medicare at 507.50. And then we'll get the net check, our check figure, at $22,283.57. Then we're going to go over here to the employer portion, where we have matched the Social Security at 1450.80 and the Medicare 507.50. Going on to our final employee by selecting Save and Next, we see Cindy Lewis. Cindy Lewis has 161 hours and 1 hour of overtime. That'll calculate the gross pay and the overtime pay. The 401k and the health insurance would populate for us, as well as the union dues. We're going to be entering in the federal withholdings at 230, Social Security at 282.10, Medicare at 65.98. That gives us the net check, our check figure, at 2104.85. Then we're going to go and enter the Social Security for the employer portion at 282.10 and the Medicare at 65.98. That should do it. That should finish us up. Then we will go to the save and close. Save and close. We'll double check our dates. End of November pay period. We're paying it 12/1, the first day of the next period. And everything looks, check numbers, looks like it lines up. All employees are lined up. Everything looks good. We're going to go ahead and say continue. And then we will create the paychecks. Paychecks being created, they'll give you some nice little beeps there if you have the sound on. We're going to take a look at the pay stubs. This is what we would have to provide to the employees in some fashion, either with the paycheck or in some other fashion. We're going to preview the pay stubs. And once again, you've probably seen this in some format in the payroll. We're going to need the current year-to-date data, what we've earned, what they took from us, not because they get to keep it as the employer, but they have to pay it to, most of it being the government. And then the net check. And the same information from year to date. We need to provide this to the employees in some fashion typically. We're going to close this back out then. Close this back out. Close this out. Check it out in our check register and just make sure that those checks have been populated, that our check numbers line up to what we think they should. So we're going to go to the banking tab and go to the use register. We're going to say we are in the checking account. That's the one we want. And we have Anthony, Jill, Judy, and Cindy on the dates of 12/1. When we process the payroll, we see the paycheck icon here. Everything looks proper. We'd want to double check that those check numbers line up to what we believe they should line up to. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.